Howdy, we're going to be talking about factoring here, and we're kind of jumping to it. We skipped over a couple things we'll get back to, but this is the opposite of the grid, which we did just last time we were here, so that's why I figured I'd do it now, because they're kind of related. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is look on the back of here. I have an addition. It's kind of silly to have an addition chart, but after you're doing so many problems, sometimes it's actually pretty helpful. And at the bottom we have a multiplication chart. And these have positive and negative numbers on it, so like if I covered up most of this, whoops, let me get a piece of paper here. If I covered up most of this, this would just be a regular multiplication chart. So if I did this, all right, that would just be a regular multiplication chart with just the positive numbers. But what I did is I just spread it out to include negative numbers as well. So I went down like that, and I put negative numbers on there as well, so you can do all of that. And that'll be handy as we're working on these later on. But for today, everything's going to be positive anyway. So let me flip back over to the front. Okay. So what I have here for number one, here's what you're going to do to start. You're going to start with parentheses. Remember, this is the opposite of the grid, so I'm going to end up with an answer like this. I'm going to put an A on both of those. Now, to fill in the numbers, you got to remember that when we did the grid, you had to add those two numbers together to get that middle number there. And you had to multiply to get that last number in the grid. You had to multiply those numbers together. So basically, here's the shortcut. I just need numbers that multiply to 90 and add to 19. Or numbers that add to 19 and multiply to 90. Now, if you want to use the chart, that's cool. Let's flip over there. Okay, so look at our chart here. Well, let me see. I have 90 right there. And that gives me 9 times 10 down there. Okay, if you look up here, this will be in the same place. 9 plus 10 is also 19. All right, so the numbers are going to be 9 and 10. This chart's going to be really handy when we throw in negatives as well. So keep that in mind, how to work with that. And they're both positive. So that's your final answer. A plus 9 and A plus 10. You need two numbers to add to 19 and multiply to 90. We're going to do a couple more here. So look at the next one, number 4. That's going to be a C. So C and a C. I want numbers that multiply to 40 and add to 14. All right. So with multiply to 40, I have a couple of choices here. Let me look over here. So for multiply to 40, I have 8 times 5, but 8 plus 5 isn't 14. All right, so I got to look around a little bit more. There's 40 right there. That's 4 and 10. 4 times 10 gives me 40, and 4 times 10, 4 plus 10 gives me 14 as well. So that's good. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so plus 4 and plus 10 there. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to do one more here. I'm going to look at number 7. So it's a B. I want numbers that multiply to 14 and add to 9. So numbers that multiply to 14 and add to 9. Well, 14 is 7 times 2, but 7 plus 2 gives me 9 as well in that same spot. 7 plus 2 gives me 9 as well. So those are my numbers. So you want numbers that multiply to 14 and add to 9. Those numbers are 7 and 2. Okay, go ahead and try a couple of these. Go ahead and try 2 and 5. I'll catch up at the end of a minute.